Hey everybody, how's it going? This is part 3 of Blood in the Void. Um, we're going to be going over the stratagems for boarding assault. So the boarding assault stratagems, there's general stratagems both sides can use, and then there's attacker specific and defender specific stratagems. Should you want to use stratagems, they're here, and that's why I'm going to go over them. First up is tunnel access, which is terrain. 3 stratagem points declared when placed, or they're declared when placed. You may place 3 hatch markers anywhere on the table no less than 12 inches apart from each other and not in impassable terrain. Should you wish it, any units with the infantry type in your reserve may enter the game via the deep strike rules using one of these hatches only as a chosen arrival point from which their arrival may scatter as normal. Spearhead sentry gun, terrain/unit, 2 or 3 stratagem points. It's got a ballistic skill of 2, armor 10 all around. Its type is artillery, 60mm base. It's got war gear of searchlight. And then choose one of the following weapons. For 2 stratagem points, you can have a twin-linked heavy bolter or twin-linked heavy flamer or single missile launcher or single assault cannon. For 3 points, you can have a twin-linked plasma cannon or twin-linked glass cannon, or 2 twin-linked heavy stubbers. And it's deployed with your spearhead forces. Both attacking boarding forces and defenders often deploy automated weapon systems to provide them with fire support, usually covering a vital area such as a hull breach or important access chamber. This weapon is equivalent to an Imperial Tarantula, heavy gun servitor, or defense platform. It may not move once deployed, but may freely engage enemy targets in the shooting phase with a 360-degree arc of fire. So choose its location wisely. Avoid hardened armor. This is gear. It's 1 stratagem point. This stratagem may be taken multiple times. Should a single unit in your force of any type, this unit has been equipped with specialized additional armor and life support systems, and now counts as being void hardened for the Cold Void mission special rules. Basically, with the Cold Void mission special rules, that whole rending thing gets negated or brought back down to normal. Let's see. Lascutters. This is gear. 1 stratagem point. It may be taken multiple times, just like void hardened armor. Shown on models, choose a 2 infantry. That's written weird. Choose 2 infantry models other than independent characters that are not already equipped with a weapon bought as a unit upgrade. Each of these models are now equipped with a lascutter, a powerful industrial tool that can be used for cutting through armored bulkheads or as a makeshift but devastating close-quarter weapon. A lascutter armed model can forego their usual attacks in assault, including any bonuses for charging, and instead make a single strength line attack, allowing no armor saves at initiative 1. Pretty cool. Flanking counterattack is a tactic. It's 2 stratagem points. The lascutter was 1, if I didn't say that already. Basically, before the game begins, the player may nominate by writing down a single unit that is to be held in reserves to be their flanking force. When this unit becomes available to enter play normally via the reserves rule, they may use their opponent's deployment zone table edge to do so if they wish. Kind of like a super outflank. Hence, flanking counterattack. Graviton gun is gear, 2 stratagem points. Special rules: the Graviton gun is used as a weapon with the following profile: 18-inch range, no strength, AP of 3, heavy 1, 3-inch blast pinning. However, instead of rolling to wound as normal, any model caught in the blast must instead roll equal to or under their strength on a d6 or suffer a wound. The roll of a 6 always counts as a failure. Targets with an armor value instead suffer a glancing hit on a roll of a 5+. After the Graviton gun has been fired, leave the blast marker in place. This area now counts as both difficult and dangerous terrain for the next turn thanks to the gravity flux. Unlike most weapons, the using player need not specifically target an enemy model. They may simply target a point on the board within range and line of sight instead. Pretty cool. And boarding shields. 1 stratagem point. Shown on models, choose a single squad in your army with the infantry type. This squad now is equipped with boarding shields. Boarding shields provide their users with a 5+ invulnerable save. However, they are cumbersome and models equipped with them may not opt to run in the shooting phase and cannot claim the extra attack for being armed with an additional close combat weapon. that's interesting. Attacker stratagem. Remember, that was general stratagems any side could take. This is specific to the attacker. Fire Wasp. It's a unit, 1 stratagem point, weapon skill and ballistic skill of 2, strength of 3, toughness of 4, 2 wounds, initiative 2, 1 attack, leadership 10, 3+ save. It's a Fire Wasp. Infantry, 40mm base. War gear of a flamer, searchlight, void ardent armor of wow. I switched to letters there. Void hardened armor. There we go. That's the proper way to say it. And close counter weapon. Special rules of fearless and move through cover. Basically, it's an Astartes combat drone. Just help. It goes with him and does stuff and all that good jazz. Nice little thing there. Shock and Awe is a tactic, 1 stratagem point. Basically, this stratagem may be declared and used at the start of any of the attacker's turns in the movement phase. The attacker rolls a d6 for every defending unit in play and not engaged in an assault. On a 4+, that target takes a pitting test. The defender now does the same for attackers' units not engaged in assault, and they suffer a pitting test on a 6. So they get to do it back to you, but it's a lot harder for them. Sustained assault tactic, 3 stratagem points. The one before was 1 if I didn't say that already, and the Fire Wasp was also 1. Sustained assault is 3 stratagem points. Before the game, the attacker may choose a single infantry unit taken as a troop's choice for the army, and then secretly marks it down. Should that unit be wiped out or fall back, the attacker may reveal the stratagem, remove the unit from play if it's still present, and return it at full strength to their reserves. This may only be done once. Remember, if it doesn't say so, the stratagem can only be taken once. This one can only be taken once as well. Interdiction Assault. This is terrain. Declared when placed, it's 2 stratagem points. During the attacker's first turn, they may place a 3-inch blast marker anywhere on the board that is not either touching an enemy model, impassable terrain, or an objective. This then scatters d6 inches, with a hit symbol indicating the breach is bang on target. Quote from the book. If this scatters off the table or into impassable terrain, simply move it as close as possible away from the terrain or board edge. This blast marker now represents the breach point and remains in place for the rest of the battle. Up to 1 infantry unit per turn arriving as reserves may use this breach to play as normal. Kind of cool. Then you have Devastation Drone. It's a unit. It's 2 stratagem points. Weapon skill of 2, no ballistic skill, strength of 3, toughness of 5, 1 wound, initiative 1, no attack, leadership 10, 4+ save. It's Devastation Drone. It's infantry with a 20mm base. It has War Gear of Implosion Charge, Void Hardened Armor. It's fearless and moves through cover. Implosion Charge. The Devastation Drone may be detonated. At any point in one of the owning player's shooting phase. Place a 5-inch blast template over the center of the drone. Everything caught in the blast suffers a Strength 8 AP3 hit, and Devastator drone, along with any removable terrain models, including bulkhead doors, are removed from play. The drone may be detonated even if the drone is in assault combat at the time. Particularly handy. If the Devastator drone suffers a wound, the attacker should roll a d6. On a roll of a 1, the drone detonates where it is as per the implosion charge rule shown above. On a 2+, the drone is removed normally. So, it's a little finicky. You have to detonate it to be reliably exploded or imploded. If it dies, it's not really reliable. So if it's an assault and dies, it's not really reliable. But it's got the toughness of 5, so, who knows. Defender stratagems. This is only for the defender. Defensive strong point terrain is 3 stratagem points. Declared when placed after deployment, areas are worked out, but before any models are deployed, the defender may either nominate one enclosed or semi-enclosed area of terrain to be their defensive strong point. Alternatively, a new piece of terrain, such as a small pillbox or square of Aegis line, may be added. A small model should be also placed within this area to represent the strong point's power generator. Defending troops within the strong point benefit from a 3+ cover save, and in addition, while the strong point's power generator is intact, models within the strong point may re-roll failed shooting attacks, which roll a 1 to hit, and the defending side gets a +1 to all reserve rolls. Pretty cool. Barricades. This is terrain, 1 stratagem point. Declared when placed, the stratagem may be taken multiple times. The defender plate has 3 4-inch wide barriers or barricades they can place on the board after the deployment area has been decided, but before any models are deployed. These barriers provide a 4+ cover save for any model firing from behind them and count as difficult ground for any model trying to cross them. Crew Gang unit, 1 stratagem point. They got weapon skill and ballistic skill of 2, strength and toughness of 3, 1 wound, initiative 3, 1 attack, leadership 7, 5+ save. You get 6 crewmen. They're infantry. They got a close combat weapon, shotgun or las pistol, void hardened armor. Basically, they represent like people who crew a ship, like rogue trader vessels, some of the people in there, and so on and so forth. You know, basically the menials of the ship defending their home, basically. Then you have traps. This is terrain, 2 stratagem points. Declared when placed. This stratagem may be taken multiple times. The defending player gains 6 trap markers. You can use models on a 20mm base, poker chips, or any other convenient counters to represent these. These may be placed by the defender anywhere on the board after deployment areas have been decided but before any models are deployed. Any models moving within 2 inches of the center point of one of these markers during the game has a chance of setting off a trap. And in case of squads, move the whole squad before seeing if the trap goes off. As this happens, roll a d6 and apply the listed effect. On a 1, no effect. Remove the marker from play. On a 2, 2, 3, not this time, nothing happens, but the marker remains where it is. On a 4 to a 6, boom. Place a 5-inch blast marker centered on the center point of the trap marker. All models caught in the blast suffer a strength 4 AP 5 hit. Models with an AV are hit on their, which is armor value, are hit on their rear armor. The trap marker is removed from play. And lastly, security airlocks and bulkhead doors. Terrain, 1 stratagem point, declared when placed. This stratagem may be taken multiple times. The defender gains D3 plus 1 airlocks and bulkhead doors. They may be placed at any sensible point in a corridor or where a chamber opens out into another space. Given that the ship is under attack, it is up to the defender which of these doors is open or locked at the start of the game. The defender may open a door by having any of their models pass through it during the movement phase and may choose whether it is left open or shut again after they go through it. The attacker may not pass through a shut door except by destroying it. Bulkhead doors count as having an armor value of 12 and may be shot at or assaulted normally, close combat attacks hitting automatically. Any glancing or penetrating hit will remove the bulkhead door / airlock from play. So, that's all the stratagems, which can make the game have an interesting feel to it, or be more fun potentially. And that's Blood in the Void. That's the boarding assault rules for Warhammer 40k as per Imperial Armor Volume 9, The Badav War, Part 1. I like the rules. I think, you know, it's universal enough, even though it was made with the basis of Space Marine Civil War in mind for the most part. So that's it. You got the gist, as best as I can do it, on the rules. So just listen to the 3-part video series if you're trying to make an army, or write down some rules for your own special missions or whatever you want to make. And one thing I will be doing, I haven't actually written down any of it yet, it's all in my head, and I should write it down soon before I forget, is I'm going to make my own boarding assault special rules type of thing. It's going to be heavily influenced by the Badav War book. A lot of it's going to feel pretty much the same or very similar, but I'm going to make it more universal feeling, so basically any army can really look at the rules I'm going to write down and use it without going, hey, wait, what about this unit or that? So it's going to take me looking through all the codices a little bit more, that way I can properly apply everything. But I'm going to write down things such as, like, Tal Pathfinders don't need a Devilfish transport to be taken, which is normally something that they have to do. Stuff like that. So I'm going to try and write down everything, not stratagems, and not really mission types per se, because I think they're fine as is, but more like special rules to play everything, like in the part 1. And we'll see how far I take it. But, you know, past what you need to make an army. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you've enjoyed the ride. And until next time, take it easy.